According to 8/31/2012, $1.6 million is by law is in the restricted reserve account. The other 1.7 that he is referring to is part of the daily cash flow. So my point is, you can't have $4 million in a restricted reserve account if the finances show $1.6 million. And that's the part that 1.6 is restricted, and the rest of it is part of an operational daily cash flow balance. And that's what the financials say as of 8/31/2012. The cap is $5 million, and by law, they have to put it back every year. Back.
Mr. Daniels.
It's clear and it's become evident that the citizens of Pine Bluff cannot trust what the mayor said. It's become evident and clear to Pine Bluff citizens that a change needs to take place. Now, I mentioned a minute ago, if you go back to the record in 2008, when I sought the mayor's office at that time, Mayor Reedus gave us, during that campaign, 4 different figures as to what was in the reserve account when he took office. 4 different figures. Now I'm hearing a 5th one tonight. Now what this says to me is that we do need to experience a major change in that office. And if we don't, you and I will continue to be like mushrooms kept in the dark and fed a whole lot of bovine excrement.
Walker, I hope you're feeling like a mushroom and not the other.
I really just have 2 statements to make that about the reserve fund, and I wanted to. I appreciate Mrs. Holland's work complimenting Councilman.
Ms. Walker, hold it a little closer.
Okay, Councilman Brummett and Easterly, which I respect my council people. See, I am on the council, and so that's why I know that we need respect. But it wasn't just the 2. Mr. Easterly started it, but the whole council supported it because it could not pass with 2 votes. So the whole council worked together. And another thing, in this equation, a lot of people are, saying what I will do and this type of thing. But the mayor cannot do anything without himself or herself and be correct because of the fact that it takes the whole council to do the thing that is right.
Ms. Walker, Mr. Wisdom.
Thank you. If this city is facing a financial crisis, I will be the first one to take a salary cut in my salary. And that's what a real leader would do to help their city. Thank you.
Mr. Mays.
Our payroll every 2 weeks runs right at $600,000. Once a month, our payroll is $1.2 million. Our city is pretty stable right now. Okay? I'm on the council also. I help make some good decisions, such as our airport. We invest in money. My thing is, we don't want to take our focus off you, the people. You are our greatest asset. That's why you're right here right now. You're crying out for help in the city, revitalization, a new direction. We must keep our eyes on it. As part of the city council, I'm doing my best to make good decisions for you. And as your chief executive officer, which your mayor is your chief executive officer, over day-to-day operation, I will do the same for you. You have my word on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Davis.
Mr. Mayor, I really intend to start a few of those numbers on. You know about that. I hate fighting over money. That's why I have my own. You ought to have your own. And yes, it is $1.6 million in the reserve fund, thank you for the correction, 1.7 million. I just think that if we're putting our tax dollars into the city, that we should get the city services that we need, and that there shouldn't be any squabbling or fighting over the money. City council, you do what you do. Mr. Mayor, you make sure you administrate whoever is going to be the mayor, when you're gone. Make sure you administrate. Do the right thing with it, and there'll be no schemes. Even if he wins, I mean, there's a chance that he could do that too. But there's a chance to that, okay? But just be sure that whatever money is there, we do the right thing with it.
Mr. James.
I will say again, the bottom line is, whether it's 1.6 or 10 million, if that money, if our streets are crumbling, if we got dilapidated buildings, if our community centers are falling apart, then it don't matter. We need to make sure, whether it's 10 million or 1 million, that the people at the bottom are being benefited. So whether it's 10 million or 1.6, let us get it. Let us correct that by the end of today, and stop fighting over the money. Be wise, Pine Bluff. They already slicing up the pie, and you haven't even voted for them yet. So be wise.
I just wanted to say I concur with Mr. James said, that we really need to focus on people. It doesn't matter what the factors, if it's 1.6, 1.7, that we really need to keen on trying to make sure that we have a reserve fund that's in case for emergencies if we need it. In order to clarify all this 1.7, 1.6, whatever terms, we just need to publicize it. That's transparency right there. And so that's what we need to talk about is transparency. We need to talk about trust. When you have a falter of trust in your leader, that shows a problem. And so we really need to focus on that and bring this community together, talking about division among entities, because we're a mayor council type of government, and it takes everybody to come together to move this city forward. And that's the reason why we haven't been moving forward, because there's so much division and so much controversy that we cannot, because it's just a blocker, a barricade for moving us to that future. And so we need to work on transparency, we work on trust, and we need to make sure that we at least have a fund there in case we have an emergency, to make sure that the people of Pine Bluff is ensured protection. Thank you.
Next question goes first to the mayor. Sir, as the incumbent, you have heard some criticism over the months, not just tonight, some criticism of your administration. What is the source of the tension between you and...
Now, you know I started the last question, so...
Did I give you a chance? No, I'm sorry, it's Ms. Hollingsworth. So I'm from Little Rock and I'm here to help.
I'll be willing to start with the address right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could be from Washington. It could be worse. So we'll give Ms. Hollingsworth. You're among those who, several of the panel members of the candidates tonight, who have expressed, to put it gently, reservations about the mayor's stewardship. To what extent is this the mayor's fault, or how much of this responsibility should accrue for any tensions, anything that's gone wrong? How much should accrue to, say, the city council, the city's business establishment, other factors? Does it take two to tango?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
The question is, let me try. I'll put it bluntly. Has the mayor really been that bad?
I have 1 minute.
1 minute. As will the mayor.
Let me start by saying that I believe that the role of a CEO is to provide accountability, transparency, and responsibility as this person is leading the city. I'll say many a time that I, for one, believe that that has not happened, and tonight is just the beginning of one of them as far as the reserve account goes. So let me clarify something. I'm not arguing over money. I am saying that if you are going to report an amount, report the amount accurately, and I believe that's part of what we have experienced the last 4 years or last 8 years. Things have not been above board. When you are asked a question, or when you ask the present leadership a question, you do not get answers. And I believe that as the city goes, we should have answers.
Mr. Daniels.
The mayor that we have currently has been inaccessible to the people, arrogant with the people. No idea is a good idea unless it's his idea. Okay? There's been virtually no transparency. Now, we're talking about contentions within why people are upset. When you crisscross the town and talk to the people, they say that no ditches have been covered. He promised that in 2004. Some areas still do not have proper street lighting, very dark. The crime continues to rise. We don't believe that crime has gone down like he reports it. We believe that the mayor has not been responsive to the people. The people have grown fatigued over that, and that's why they want him out. Now, you have 9 people running. That means 8 people will not be voting for the mayor.
Ms. Walker.
Mr. Barnes, would you please repeat the question? Would you repeat the question?
Well, I'm trying to rephrase it about 3 or 4 ways, so your summation overall of what mood, let's try it this way. What about the mayor's administration prompted you to try to replace it, you personally?
Frustration. Because as a member of the city council, I started becoming more and more frustrated. The way that things were going, and other council members as well. Because as you said, it is a mayoral and council form of government. But when you have one person making the decisions and you read about what is going on in the newspaper or at a forum like this, that you find out what is being done with the city's funds or the tax money, that is what motivated me, because I became very frustrated. That was not, running for mayor was not on my bucket list, but I'm in it to win it. And because I just became very frustrated, because this city deserves better, and I know that I can give it better. Thank you.
Mr. Wisdom.
Like President Truman always says, the buck stops here. Whoever is sitting behind that desk, you are responsible for the citizens of this town. So, no matter if it's something small or an economic crisis, you are responsible to make sure that their lives are, they are happy with their lives. Thank you.
Mr. Mays.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, I went to a class today. I go to municipal league classes. It takes 21 hours to be certified as a public official. On my second year, I already got 17 credits already. Being mayor is a tough job. You're the CEO. You're the officer of day-to-day operations. Mayor Reedus, I don't know if he's, it's a burnout or whatever, but it's a lot to it. No, it's not funny. But we have to put more energy into this seat. The mayor's seat is the top seat in Pine Bluff. It's like your chair at home when you don't want nobody to sit in. It's number one. You got to have energy. You got to have direction. You got to have focus. The focus is the people. You can't lose the ear of the people. I have people call me all the time. You know, they say, "Oh, man, we can talk to you. We can call you." That's why we need you. My door will always be open for you. If I get burned out, I'm getting out the way. Because you know what? That affects your children. Your children's children. 8 years, this town should be a lot further than what it is.
Amen.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Davis.
Thank you very much. Would you give me that question? We've had several answers.
Oh, sure. I'll take it on the
Mays
spot.
said something.
I can't do any worse than Alex Rodriguez would have been. I mean, I would. Yeah. What about the mayor's stewardship, his administration, or the city in general prompted you to run, to think that you could be a better administrator than the mayor?
I'm glad you put that last part in there, because you said the city in general. Now, I'm the chairman of the school board. School boards, along with the city council, have a certain responsibility. The mayor, along with the principal of the school, also has a certain responsibility. I've also been an administrator of the school. The school board, as well as the city council's job, is to set standards, make laws, bylaws, make sure that everything is in order with the budget. The mayor's job is to administrate. What we have in this city is just the opposite. We have the city council, a lot of them, trying to administrate. This can be frustrating. And if I was the mayor, the city council would be sure to do their part and allow me, as the mayor, to do my part. And when they go out there to try to pick up stuff off the street, I say, wait a minute, hold on. Just need to call the mayor's office.
Mr. James.
Pine Bluff, the insight into the character of your next leader, the insight into the character you're receiving it tonight, you can disagree without being disrespectful. All right? And with that said, the number one thing that should decide when a leader must go is when he has lost the faith and the confidence of the people. So regardless of what I think personally, the people have lost faith in you, then it is time to go. But we can say such a thing without being disrespectful to our city mayor, because that goes a long way into painting the image of the city. So if you can't come off as bitter and vehemently disrespectful to your city mayor, because this will be projected across city lines. So we must remember. All right? Thank you.
We have to, well, let me just want to say, you see there's 9 people up here, that shows an indication of people about the city and what they want to move it forward. And so that, you have to ask your own self about the leadership and this current. But it does take 2 to tango. And when I say that, I mean that it takes everybody's responsibility to move this city forward. I talked about it in my last statement, in saying that we have to bring people together. That's what made me want to move this city forward. It's the fact that we have to bring people on the left, have to bring people on the right in views, and bring them together to move this city forward, and bringing people together to say that, hey, we know that we have a problem here. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to make sure that we address poverty in our city, make sure that we address small businesses and making sure they have opportunities for economic development here in Pine Bluff? Because I believe there's a loss of touch in our city about the key issues that's happening. When we talk about abandoned buildings, when we talk about that child who doesn't have a meal to go home to, that's a problem. And so that's what made me want to go run for mayor and move this city forward.
Mayor, thank you. All right. One of the things that's extremely important in this community today is that there's been no professional, no political, no financial scandals under this administration. And you can have a short memory if you want to. I think all of you remember from 2000 to 2005 in the history of this city. That's why we were on the brinks of bankruptcy. Also, I think it's important to remember that you as citizens invested in the future of this community and invested in the leadership of this community by passing what I have coined as a penny for progress. A penny to invest in the future of this community. Now, it takes courage to go out and communicate to citizens about investing in your future and your children's future. It was 28 years before this community had passed a tax toward your future. So it's extremely important that you understand what's needed to lead. And I can assure you, I have over 40 years of business experience, 8 years of government experience, and I'm leading. No doubt about that. Thank you.
When you get back to me, excuse me, sir. When you get back to me, I want to address that question.
Well, I'm going to try to shift subjects to honor the audience, which has submitted a number of just wonderful questions that I'd like to get to them. But I would point out to the panelists, you can use your time, however you wish. And this one goes first to Mr. Daniels. A number of members of our audience have sent questions up here, and again, we thank you for all of them, through Mr. Tate regarding the status of youth programs in the city. Now, a number of you tonight have mentioned that you would like to see other after-school activities, summer activities, something to keep our kids engaged in positive activity when they're not in school or when not at work. Mr. Daniels, if you were mayor, are there new approaches you would use, new techniques, new tactics, new funds, new programs that you would have?
In my opening statement, I made a comment about the young people being involved in a major football program in Southeast every Saturday. Well, I attend that, and I talk to many of the parents and the coaches there, and they've expressed that once the children reach 7th grade, there's nothing for them. Everything drops off, and that's when the bad element of the community has an opportunity to turn that young person's head in the wrong direction. So I asked the coaches, and I've asked people like Earl and Rose Vaughn and Leandra Sanders, I've asked them, how could the city partner with you to help keep the attention of the young people in a right direction as opposed to leaving them of the bad element of the community? And they've said to me, what we are in need of are resources. We need to partner with the city, we need to partner with churches, we need to partner to make sure that our young people are turned and headed when the other activities are ended.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Walker.
Well, right now,
Hold it high now.
Okay.
We want everybody to hear everybody.
I have to say that at present we are doing a lot of things for the young people as far as activities and things for the weekends and things like that. Through the police department, I will give them that. When people do something good, they need to be recognized for it. And so there are a lot of programs that is going on in that manner. But I do agree that we need more things for the young people. And I would like to see where Mr. Daniels was referring to the ball field. I would like to see them have a professional like ball field to have their activities. And we do have a summer program that helps children to work.
Thank you. And Mr. Wisdom.
Thank you. We have programs like City Year and AmeriCorps out there. We have other programs we can look towards too. We can also team up with University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff and CARC to have mentorship going to all the schools in the county that can teach from elementary to high schools to be mentors to them. Thank you.
Mr. Mays.
Like Mr. Whitson said, we have TV and CR, which we can go to our...
Mr. Mays, can I suggest you hold yours up a little?
We can go to our sororities and fraternities and ask them to volunteer more in the communities also. Even our adults, we need to learn how to volunteer more in our community. We have programs already in our Chester Hines, in our Murrah Center, that needs to be upgraded. They're moving forward. As your CEO, I'm not going to try to invent the wheel. I'm going to upgrade what we have. Our schools have children already just waiting on entertainment and activities. I mean, we set up here every year, every campaign year, talking the same issues. We have to fix this stuff, people. It needs to be fixed. I mean, we're getting older. It's time to make a change. It's time to fix this stuff. And fix it, well, we don't have to go back and fix it again. What we've been doing over the last 10 or 15, 20 years is just patching the problems up. And we still have the same problems year after year. Allow me to be your CEO. My Fix It Now plan will make it happen.
Mr. Davis.
I use my mental wise. I believe we need for our youth more of the sports activities as well as the learning activities for them. Mr. Wesenhauser mentioned earlier there the City Year. The City Year, we use that for our college students that come out of college, and to allow them to work with city jobs and different jobs. I do want to say this. I really do want to say this. I got 30 seconds. I know I do. One of the reasons I wanted to run for this office is because of the way that the people of this city has been treated by the current administration, the administrator. And I believe that none of you should ever be talked down to. None of you, especially by the administrator. Never to tell you what you cannot do. Mr. James.
He kind of went off track. Can you repeat the question? He went off track a little bit. Can you repeat the question?
It's your 1 minute, so I'm going to allow you some latitude within the 1 minute.
No, can you repeat the question? Repeat the question.
What the last question?
Oh, about the youth. Oh, okay.
Yeah, youth programs. I'm sorry.
All right. You got hypnotized me. But we have an $11.5 million new complex schedule, which won't come to fruition for years to come. What I suggest is take that $11.5 million and fund the things that I took advantage of when I was a kid. Not to sound too young, but the summer sports program at UAPB. I benefited from that. The YOU program, where I went to Fayetteville and lived in the college dorms and worked on campus for the summer. I benefited from that exposure. It made me, it played a role in making me the young man that you see before you today. So build up the Chester Hines, build up Murrah Center. Let's use that $11.5 million and fund the projects that we all took advantage of, many of us. So let us not try to do something new to stick our name on. Let us support something that names are already on to further those institutions that have been a part of Pine Bluff for most of our lives. Thank you.
The youth is our future, and we know that, and we have to invest into them. And I'm talking about investing into our parks and recreation to have something for them to do after school, to make sure that we partner up with entities in our community, such as University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, CR, where they have summer school programs where they can see how it is to be in higher education. Because some of them live right about 2 or 3 blocks from the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, or CR, and would never dream that they can get a degree, a bachelor's degree, and they only live 2 blocks away from there. So exposing them to those entities, making sure that we have programs where they can have workforce development, where they have that training, is founding on the partnerships that they have with the city, with giving them jobs, making sure that they know professionalism. Overall, we need to invest in our youth, and because they are the future, and we have to move forward with that.
Thanks. Yes. Citizens, one of the things that you voted in during the bond referendum of February 2011 was a multi-purpose community center with an aquatics park. We have the design and the engineering of that already. We have $5 million worth of bond money to go toward that. It is approximately a $10 million project, and we are busy raising the additional $5 million by talking to philanthropists, private foundations, public foundations, and individuals within this community that's interested in seeing our youth have a facility where they can have educational opportunities, recreational opportunities, cultural opportunities, and spiritual development. It will take place, and it will take place very soon. I guarantee you that that is a project that each and every one of us would like to see happen within this community because it serves our youth. It helps give them a safe haven right within the community. Thank you.
Ms. Hollingsworth.
I believe the very first thing that I would do, and the best thing for our youth, is to engage our youth and appoint a panel of youth. It would be called the Youth Advisory Panel. I believe I want to know what the youth wants out of us, the citizens. What can we do? What can we bring to them that will empower our youth, make the neighborhoods healthier, and give them a better place, but at the same time, too, hear from the youth and know what they want. I think that's the most important part. And then the second one is bringing in programs like First Tee, that's character building. Another program is OK, Our Kids, which is a mentoring program. The third one is I believe we have an epidemic of within our youth that's black on black crime. I will appoint a panel that will help our youth come out of the problems that we've got today and have what's called youth interventors that will come in and work with the youth and help them understand how to get out of the position they're in. I'm sorry.
Mr. Daniels.
I'm sorry. I think that was the third response to that. So I think I owe Ms. Walker the next question first. I think we began with you. So Ms. Walker, a fresh question from the audience, although it does tie into something that I think all of you mentioned it at one point or another, and that is, granted, although we have a school board representative with us as Ken, the member of the audience who posed this question notes that city government and school district governance are two different entities. Nonetheless, are there things that the city government could do to improve the quality of education, really for metropolitan Pine Bluff? Let me put the question.
Well, yeah, well, first of all, we have a school board, and you cannot infringe on their position. But we need to work together. The city, the school boards, the universities, we all need to work together because they all intertwine. But, you know, there again, we have to be careful that we don't go over and start to try to dictate what they are doing. In other words, that we be a supportive group. That's how I feel about that.
Thank you. Mr. Wisdom.
Thank you. The city needs to help the schools out there. Whatever problems they are facing, if the city can help, we can be a helping hand, but we're not going to interfere with their curriculum. But if they need a helping hand, saying fundraisers or stuff like that, we can help the schools because they are the ones who are teaching the next generations out there who will be coming up coming up in front of us asking for your support to run this city. So we have to have a helping hand in schools in Jefferson County. Thank you.
Mr. Bates.
I went to Robert F. Moorhead last night before last. They had an East initiative program there with the students, and it was awesome. The students were there working on computers. They were so excited about doing something after school, and they wanted to show the parents and community leaders and other people in the community. As your CEO, the mayor of day-to-day operations of Pine Bluff, what I would do is get our city hall to work a lot more closer with our schools. I will incorporate a staff inside City Hall, along with myself, to go into schools, walk around the schools, speak to the children, at least once a month. These kids have a lot of energy, and they're just ready for somebody to ask them to do something. You should have seen this last night. These kids, they were so excited about, showing off their computer skills and what they did with robots and things like that. Like I said, Pine Bluff, we got to be more involved in being volunteers. I mean, we can't just sit on the porch all of our lives. We got to get off the porch and help these children. These are the same problems we've been talking about for years.
Mr. Davis.
You've been a school board chair. The city government has no part in that. However, the influence from leaders, period, does have influence on the students of the school. And the leaders of the city can also have influence by personality traits on the school board if the leaders of the city are in cooperation. And it can also flow right on into the school board. We have our school board is a really, really good organized school board. And what we do is we make sure that we're looking around to pick up good traits from anybody that has them. If we look at the city and we decide to take those traits, then that's going to be in our board. just have to be sure that we're doing the very best we can.
Pine Bluff, one of the unseen powers of the mayor is his influence. If the mayor can go into those schools and talk with the principal and get the principal to buy in to the vision of the city, the mayor can go a long way into tying local businesses with the school. Walmart, hey, won't you help us put more computers in the classrooms? Hey, Simmons, won't you fund a outing for the kids so they can get more exposure outside of the city limits of Pine Bluff? Hey, Arts and Science Center, we're going to help you find a way to expand your arts exhibit so we can get our children more exposure to culture. Because those things will also go a long way into combating crime. Because we know an educated mind is a mind that thinks and a mind that is able to better weigh decisions. And when a child sees a future, he feels that he has more to lose, and he won't go out and make the dumb decisions, the bad decisions that some of us make sometimes. So influence is a powerful thing. Thank you.
I believe that school districts in the city have a good relationship because what the city can provide for those school districts is to ensure safety around those communities that their schools are located. We're talking about park and recreational centers. We're talking about sidewalks that we can improve there where students can walk home safely. We're talking about also the trash that might be around you to create a positive environment. So the city does have a relationship with those schools and making sure that they're safe places around there and improving those neighborhoods. And also, influence is a part of that you can improve the relationship, is making sure that those community philanthropy institutions such as Walmart, such as Tyson, using those entities to make sure that we have programs within our school district to get those computers that Mr. Mays was talking about, to get those programs of mentorship and different things that are a necessity to improve those students' life and through development. But the city does play a role with improving those neighborhoods that those schools are in, by improving the sidewalks, by improving the park and recreation, and making sure that they are improving. And also adult education, I believe, plays a role in that we need to partner up with them to make sure that people can improve their standard of living, making sure they get a GED where they can go ahead and work.
Mayor.
Yes.
Presently, we are working with all of our school districts by providing school resource officers to each particular school district in the city of Pine Bluff. We are also providing leaders from City Hall, administrators, to go out and participate and share with students what government is all about, letting them know what that government does for them, let them know how to get involved in government, and helping them to understand how to be good citizens. That's extremely important. We are also collaborating with the school districts in making sure that whenever they have challenges faced with transportation, faced with space, or faced with anything that we can be of assistance of, we collaborate with them. We work with them. That's extremely important. The police department has a DARE program where they introduce over 500 students this summer to a variety of things that's important to understanding law enforcement and being good citizens in your community. We also have what we call the summer youth program, where we hire youth so they can understand work ethics, they can understand character development, they can be better citizens. Yes.
Ms. Hollis.
Thank you. There has never been a time that I am aware of that the 3 different school districts, along with UAPB and CR, have sat down and at a table and discussed the problems that we currently have within our educational system. Now, first and foremost, I will say that by the recent school board election, I believe that our public schools will be getting back on track, and the focus will be on our children. But as far as city government partnering up with these schools, I think it is huge. I think that the city government needs to provide a platform to where everybody can talk about what the issues are. When a child is in the 7th grade, that child can realize whether they're going to go on to a higher education or become learn a trade or a skill. We need to make sure that our city is prepared and the curriculum within CR and the other schools can adapt to that.
Mr. Daniels.
I mentioned earlier the names of Earl and Rose Vaughn Leander Sanders. The Vaughns have the Little Gentleman Esquire program that they do every year, and Miss Sanders does the Christian Cotillion Debutante program, and also mentioned about the football activity that goes on over in the Southeast every Saturday, and there's about 900 or so children that's involved in that. Across Pine Bluff, there are different agencies that have programs that benefit children. And they all will tell you that they are handicapped because of the lack of resources. Now, you got two different turfs involved here with the city and then the school board. And no one is wanting to infringe on anything that the school board has going on. But I believe that those activities that involve our children after school is where we need to give more attention. There's too many.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You could have finished the sentence, and I would have permitted that. Thank you very much. Memo to our candidates and to our audience. We're going to go one more round of questioning and then go to closing arguments. So everybody ought to be at home for Jay Leno or... we begin on the final question, Mr. Wisman, with you, and that is from K-12 to higher ed. In your estimation...
And if you need more money, then what we need to do is increase the size of the pie, increase the population so that more people can be in the tax base, and then we'll get more money that way.
Mr. James.
I think the size of the city reserve should be enough to cover all debt, all expenses, all salaries for the year plus 1 year, and how much ever else is needed for natural disasters. But Pine Bluff, I don't want you to miss this. They haven't even been elected yet, and they're already fighting over the money. I don't want you to miss that. They're already fighting over who gets what and who's spending what. We need to focus, keep our eye on the ball, which are the people. The mayor is put there to promote the needs, the wants, and the desires of the community. Not to fight over the money. It needs to be there, but they're already fighting over the money. Don't take your eye off of that. Be wise, Pine Bluff.
I think the next question goes first, Ms. Brockman. Let's get mine.
No, it goes to the mayor.
No, let me phrase this, Your Honor, in a way that I think maybe will be fair to everybody. Several of you have taken issue in the last 5 or 10 minutes over the city's reserve fund. So beginning with Mr. Brockman, let me try to phrase the question this way.
Yes, the mayor.
Does it go to
Yeah, it
the
goes
mayor
to the mayor.
first? All right, okay. Your Honor, your accounting, your administration's accounting of the reserve fund has been questioned tonight, challenged. Your defense, sir, and then to the other candidates, if I would phrase the question this way: has the mayor's administration been a good steward of that fund? Your Honor, beginning.
Absolutely. That's why we have financial stability in this community today. That's why we've been able to reinvest in our community today. Now let me clear this up right quick about the reserve. There is $1.6 million in a restricted reserve, but there's $1.7 million that's in the reserve, an operating reserve. There is another $700,000 that we use basically for cash flow. But my statement was, by the end of the year, we will have a reserve fund of $4 million. That's where a city our size should be, approximately 10 to 15% of its revenue. We have a finance director. You can clarify that with the finance director, Barry, see where we are, and print it in the newspaper. The key thing is, we have done what this community needs to do to get back on a strong financial footing. And that required leadership and courage. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to Wayne East